We're continuing back here. So, democracy is what we call a bottom up dynamic. That is, it begins with us on the bottom, the voters, and we send people up. We mandate our will from the bottom all the way to the top, to our elected officials, to our congressmen, our senators, and our presidents. Bureaucracies are top down. That is, an order comes from the top and it's followed all the way down. Is there a tension in this? Certainly, yes. But then I would ask you, is there any better way of doing this? So, what do they do? Well, when a law is created, someone's got to enforce it, someone's got to manage this law. What do you do after you sign the law? Well, bureaucracies are made to apply the law. Restaurants have to obey, for instance, or have to display the calories of an item. How do you do that? Well, the FDA, you can follow this link, or we could follow this link, has very specific guidelines mandating how restaurants and food labeling has to be, or how restaurants must display their calories and food labeling on products must work. So here, look at all of this. Example of graphic enhancements used by the FDA. You have probably never thought about this in your life, but there is a reason that every single label looks the same in terms of the font size, and in terms of the materials listed there. All of these are regulations laid out by the FDA for nutritional label requirements. And you see that this type of law enforcement, it's a little different than like policing, right? This is very, very different. But I would argue it's very important. Agencies propose rules. And when those agencies propose rules, they send them to the Office of Management and Budget. The OMB publishes proposed rules in the registrar. And now anyone can read the Federal Registrar. You can go in there, excuse me, you can send in comments, and the public can question this registrar. And then after that happens, the agency reviews those comments. 30 days later, the new rule goes into effect. In theory, if you don't like the regulation, you can sue the agency for going against Congress's intent. And this is all very hidden. Wait a minute, I just said it was public. How could I say it was hidden? Well, class, students, countrymen, have you ever heard of the Federal Register? Have you heard of the OMB? This is all public, but who really gets involved? Not a lot of people is the answer. This is just a graphical representation of the process. If you would like, you can pause this PowerPoint here and take a look at it. Otherwise, we will review this together in class in person. Now, implementation is the final and last step of bureaucracy's function. The bureaucracies are involved in the legislative process. They have representatives who they send to Congress to inform congressmen and senators of what's going on. They comprise the staff many times of congressional offices, and in congressional committees, they are a member of the Iron Triangles. So you see Congress here funding and political support, providing funding and political support, and bureaucracy providing policy choices and executions. You see a third actor here, interest groups. We'll get to those next week. But anytime an expert opinion is needed, Congress consults bureaucracy and bureaucrats. Now, the president appoints about 4,000 people, so that's 4,000 people that could be awarded these jobs through patronage. The bulk, though, are civil servants. That is, they are professional bureaucrats who enter at the bottom and ascend to the top. Now, this is a very interesting dynamic because civil servants make their careers in bureaucracy, but the appointments of the heads of these bureaucracies, that is, the cabinets positions, members of the president's cabinet, change pretty often. They change an average of 3 years, but they also change with every president. Every new president must form a new cabinet. So this is very strange. We'll talk about this later. It's called rotating bureaucracy. Now, there are four major kinds of agencies and bureaucracies in the federal government. There are those 15 cabinet departments. Then there are executive agencies, which are not members of the cabinet but do report to the president. There are independent regulatory commissions, which can be formed by the president to just look at independent issues. And then there are government contractors. These are private-ish businesses, I say private-ish, who are contracted by the government to carry out particular services. Again, there are 15 current departments. At the head of each is a secretary who is confirmed by the Senate. This is a problem. One, a president has to find a secretary that they like. They have to find someone that they like, and they also have to find someone that Congress likes. You have to get your staff appointed too. And then you have to find and recruit your staff if you are the president. So this is just a little detail about what each department does. We've talked about a lot of these. Let's just go through a few. State oversees matters related to foreign policy. Treasury oversees the printing of currency, collects taxes, and manages the government debt. This is the Department of the Treasury, the IRS, and other bureaucracies. The Department of Justice controls the FBI, oversees the enforcement of laws. Interior, management of lands, water, and wildlife. Let's come down to some of these you may know less about. Health and Human Services oversees the promotion of public health by providing essential human services and enforcing food and drug laws. So the FDA falls into here. Housing and Urban Development oversees housing matters related to U.S. schooling or housing needs, works to increase home ownership, and increases access to affordable housing. And then we have this last one, which I've said is a bit sinister. That's the Department of Homeland Security, oversees agencies charged with protecting the territory of the United States from natural and human threats. So, we will pick up here on the next video.